Hello, good evening, and many thanks for joining us on the last edition of Hello, good evening, welcome. This is the last edition of the program this week. I am Jones Hussein, and today on the program, 92 aspirants jostle for 23 positions in the PDP National Convention, and NJC describes Justice Adeni Ademola's voluntary retirement as an afterthought. I'm hanging out with Sam Ibemere. Sam, you're welcome.
My pleasure.
Good to see you.
Nice one.
And of course, Babachide Kolade Otitoju is here as always.
Good afternoon.
All right, then, so let's hit the road. All right, then, many people would consider Robert Greene's 48 laws of power implausible, or if you like, unrealistic, but they capture the essence of life and living in a volatile environment. 92 hopefuls shoving for 23 positions at the opposition PDP convention built for tomorrow says it all. The plum office is that of national chairman of the party. 9 contenders are in the running, and the field is supercharged, Jide. So, it is it's a battle royale, as they say.
It is. In a long time, the PDP has now had a convention, national convention, that has aroused as much interest as this one. Because everyone says that the future of the PDP is tied to the success of this convention.
Or otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, I get your drift. Now, the thing is, nearly all the positions on offer are going to be contested. And it's been tough to get people to agree to step down for one another. Those who felt consensus candidacy will help unify the party, you know, especially for the key positions, the national secretary, national chairmanship of the party, have been disappointed because all the 5 top positions are going to be contested for. And I mean the national chairman, the national secretary, national organizing secretary, national publicity secretary, youth, the national youth leader, even the women's leader are all going to be contested. So it's
no less so the vice national chairman, North and South.
Yeah.
yeah,
Very interesting.
yes,
Because
so
you have a preponderance of Yoruba candidates vying for the
national chairmanship.
vice chairmanship. It's interesting, curious.
It is really. But I think that from what we are seeing, it may turn out to be a credible national convention of the PDP because everyone is interested. Everyone, the stakes are high. You know, you've had people like Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida showing interest and even holding meetings with key figures in the party. For so long, IBB
has been in the cooler,
yes,
so to speak.
Had not really been showing interest in politics. But in this case, we are seeing him showing interest in the national convention of the PDP. So it says a lot about the fact that the stakes are high in this convention.
Sam, and we've just talked about Ibrahim Babangida, general, retired. 11 PDP governors say he wants to impose a candidate on them, and they're spoiling for the battle.
There have been all manner of speculations. That is just one of them. Indeed, there are talks about this convention being a straight fight between the PDP governors and some ex-governors who are said to have the backing of IBB, and in some cases, GEJ's name has been mentioned, and I think Atiku also, who has just crossed over to the PDP, seems to have located himself within that group. So it's a very tough battle that we're expecting. Interestingly, IBB's home seems to have become a mecca of sorts. You had Atiku visit a few other henchmen of the PDP have also visited. And all manner of things, have been said about who is backing who in this convention. But that should be expected. I mean, like Jide said, the stakes are high. The governors are interested in who becomes the chairman. We hear that
the big picture is 2019.
Yeah, of course it is. And we hear that 8 of these governors are said to have been assisted by one of the aspirants. I don't want to mention names here, to have helped them. And that is why they are jostling to...
So it's payback time.
Yeah, it's payback time. So, but again, like I said, it's all a matter of conjecture.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Jide, but again, it's a fine thing. Let's thrash this out. Are we in agreement? Is the chairmanship zoned to the south-south, southeast, or southwest? Has that been settled?
No, that remains a contentious issue, because the issue of microzoning suddenly came out. All kinds of words.
That's a new one.
Often pop up in our political lexicon. We had initially that because the Southwest had never produced the national chairman of the PDP, that this time around the party was going to allow a candidate from the Southwest to become its next national chairman. And indeed, Southern leaders met on the 4th of August 2016 and agreed that this time around, to unite the party, the Southwest had to produce the national chairman. But suddenly, some powerful people within the PDP, most notably the governor of Rivers State, decided to see things differently, and their own argument is, look, that part of the country that has kept the PDP in focus, that has ensured that the PDP has not lost, that has ensured that the PDP has not lost relevance, ought to be rewarded. And what they are saying is, look, if it's not good enough for the national chairman of the party to come from a state that the party does not control. But Adeniro, personally, Adeniro is from Ekiti State. But we all know that Fawashe does not support the emergence of a candidate from the Southwest. So it's like he doesn't have the support of his governor. So what they are saying, we've done so much to keep this party intact, to ensure that this party retains its relevance in political affairs. Therefore, we have to be rewarded.
You would have expected that for the first 16 years since 1999, the Southwest had produced a governor,
yes.
A Mr. President,
yes.
And as we speak, a vice president,
yes,
although from another platform.
Yes.
So consensus lacking here.
It's lacking, and I was expecting that overnight, all the candidates from the Southwest, the Tawhid Adedojas of this world, the Rashidi Adewolula Dojas of this world, all of them, Wenga Daniel, even the
Jimmy Agbaje,
would have decided to back just one fellow amongst them. To say, okay, you Adenino, you appear to have greater support across board than the rest of us, so we allow you to go and face Secondus in this battle, because Secondus does not have any
Are we assuming that Dr. C has stepped down for, or will step down for Secondus?
He's thinking of the
no, there's a preponderance of Yoruba people.
Yeah.
Because
7 out of 9.
I can easily explain why. Because all along, everyone thought this thing had been zoned to the Southwest. So the people of the Southwest already made up their minds that, look, since this is coming to us, okay, I fancy my chances. But suddenly, things change. That's why a lot of them are in the race. If today, you see what will happen in 2019, if the presidency is zoned to the north, there will be many candidates from the north, just for the position. So this is what has happened in this case. But I expected that, look, amongst the people from the south now, since we are not talking about microzoning anymore, among the people from the south, or from the southwest, let me say from the southwest,
Yeah.
there is one person who appears to have greater support than others.
That's correct.
You know, when we talk about even Northern Elders Forum, Northern Leaders Forum, who is the PDP, Adeniro, they queued up behind him to say this is the person that we want.
But he appears to be an outsider, Sam. Didn't you?
Yeah, interesting. But you know, in politics, you really can't rule out anything. Just like he said, this, from permutations, is likely to be a straight race between Professor Adeniro, who seems to have this backing that, you know, has been acknowledged, and a secondus, who has the backing of not just Wike, but we also learn that other governors seems to be backing him. So you really can't rule out anybody. From what has been published, from what we have heard, you know, from the rumor mills, Professor Tunde Adeniro appears to enjoy, you know, that support base, and you don't want to rule him out. You don't want to rule him out. The campaign has been pretty tough. A lot of them traveled across the length and breadth of this country, you know, canvassing for votes. But this is about delegates. It's not about convincing anybody in any of the states. It's about delegates who are going to be
Sam,
at the convention.
still sticking with you, let me share the kite flown by Senator Buruji Kashamu. He's saying and insisting anybody who has questions or matters to settle with the EFCC and anti-graft agencies should be asked out of the running.
It's interesting.
You see the picture I'm painting?
Yeah, it's interesting. This is coming from Kashamu, who himself, you know, has he has his own case. Yes. But the point here is, until you're found guilty, it's assumed that you're free. You understand? So I think that what should happen is that all those who have signified interests to run this race, to go into contest, should do so. Should do so. As to legalities, I'm sure that can be sorted out. So for Kashamu, I think there's a bit of sentiment here. You can't rule that out. I mean, he says...
But can you wish away what he's saying?
No, you really can't wish away anything, because give it to Kashamu. There is this feeling that this ought to come to the Southwest. And he has also said that if you don't give this to the Southwest this time, PDP is likely to begin to look like a regional party. These are all sentiments expressed. But we know it's about numbers here. Those who are pushing these candidates also have their interest. The governors who are pushing for secondus know what they want. Those who want Adeniro in are also doing their permutations as far as the presidency is concerned. So each of these groups is keen on planting somebody who would pursue their interest in the forthcoming elections. I think that's it's
all about interest and more interest.
It is.
Okay then, let's take a break here, and I hope you are joining the debate. We'll return after this. Please don't go away. Okay then, welcome back. The biggest opposition party in the country, the People's Democratic Party, is gearing up for its all-important national convention tomorrow. And so all roads would lead to the nation's capital. I still have Sam Ibemere and Jide Utitoju here. Yeah, Jide, if we take off from where we left off the last time, but just before then, Ayo Ozubakun is our man. He's waiting in Abuja. Ayo, you want to fill us in now? How are you, Ayo?
Yeah, nice to hang out with you. You guys all the way from Abuja.
Yep.
It feels different, but hi to Babajide and Sam Ibemere. You can see you guys.
Yeah, so but what can you tell us?
Now is that so they're just counting down. Just counting down to the D-Day, and there are contentious issues. The issues you guys have raised earlier, the issue of zoning or micro-zoning, while some of the aspirants from the Southwest, they're insisting that this thing should be an exclusive game of the Southwest. I think the party leadership, they've gone beyond that now. Raymond Dopesi and Uche Secondus are included in the ballot. They've screened them because at the point in time that there was a committee was set up, and that committee actually screened all the candidates. If at that point in time some candidates were screened out, aspirants were screened out, would have known that, oh, it's an exclusive right of the Southwest to get, to participate in tomorrow's exercise. But the way it is now, it's all open to the people of the South. Anybody from any part of the South will be participating in that election. So it's now a kind of issue that the Southwest will be going to that battle with a divided house. Divided house in the sense that if you have a Raymond Dopesi that does not have support base, so to say. When I say support base, because I'm aware that the People's Democratic Party in Edo State did not endorse Raymond Dopesi. I'm just doing one by one. But for Uche Secondus, he has his home base from the River State and some other adjoining South states, which I'm not too sure of the level of commitment of this South states to Uche Secondus. And when you talk about Gbenga Daniel, the People's Democratic Party back in his own states, they've endorsed him, and Bode George in Lagos State, they've endorsed him, and they didn't endorse Tunde Adeniran from home, but the strength of Tunde Adeniran is the Obasanjo connection, the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the Babangida connection, and all other old ministers, former ministers that served under the government of Olusegun Obasanjo and after Obasanjo. So Senator Mantu, Jerry Gana, these are the people that are founding fathers of the People's Democratic Party. And so we are looking at a contest, a stiff contest between Tunde Adeniran and Uche Secondus. And the people that will decide whatever happens to tomorrow's exercise are going to be the votes coming from the north, because already in the Southwest is divided. In the South is neither here and there. So what we're looking at is that the ability of the governors that are backing the Secondus of this world to reach out to the northern governors. I don't know, maybe they have an accord or anything, but don't forget, they have a governor in Taraba State, they have another governor in Gombe State, two states from the north. So hopefully tomorrow we are going to know, not maybe tomorrow, the wee hours of Sunday, we are going to know whoever will emerge as the national chairman. So nobody has stepped down. All aspirants, all the chairmanship aspirants, they're in the game, and they're in the race. They're still campaigning. All the streets of Abuja is agog. It's as if the election is a general election. Everywhere is colorful. You can see people, PDP banner, PDP card, and you can see a semblance of the strength of PDP trying to come together, that if they could get their act together in this convention, the PDP might make a very good comeback for 2019. Whether they will win the presidential election, time will tell.
All right, Ayo, I think we want to leave it there for the moment. You have painted a clear picture. Apparently, the delegates are in town, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
we hear Abuja hotels are fully booked.
Expectedly.
Yeah.
Jide, I mean, I like us to go back to this zoning thing. You know, the case for a candidate, a chairmanship, a chairman from the Southwest. You know, politics, there's a peculiar way it works, especially in our country. Is it about the plausibility of the picture you painted, or about a man who will command respect across board?
Yes, but
if you understand what I mean.
Ideally, is a man who will command respect across board that the party needs. It shouldn't be, oh, this part of the country had never produced the chairman and all that. But when politicians are confronted by this kind of situation, people come up with all kinds of ideas, arguments, because politics is an interest-driven game. You want to do your best to win. So now, even when the PDP had this crisis, when the case was in court, people like Adeshe Ogunle were insisting that, look, for peace to reign in the party, the national chairmanship, which was the issue in contention, had to go to the Southwest. So it's a battle that they began during the contest between McCarthy and Sheriff.
Yeah.
Now, McCarthy emerged from the Supreme Court the victor, but the Southwest clearly has not been able to achieve the same, because from the way, from the look of things, Secondus is gaining momentum. And from Adeniran State, which is Ekiti, Fayose will get the delegates there to vote for Secondus, because Fayose appears to go anywhere Wike goes. They are very similar in attitudinal disposition and political stratagem. So that's really what is happening.
Sam, embattled former National Publicity Secretary Olisa Metu has led stakeholders from his Anambra to say, look, there's we have a lot of irregularities and so on. You see that playing out? If he's smelling a rat and crying wolf.
Well, interestingly, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has this, toga it has had to wear over time. Often it's been accused of impunity, lack of internal democracy. Are we going to see all that playing out tomorrow? I'm not a seer, but you don't rule out anything. I don't want to believe that Olisa Metu is crying wolf, because his allegations were direct. He says there are attempts, he alleges that there are attempts to manipulate the delegates, and delegates are key to what is going to happen tomorrow. Metu is just one person. We could have other Metus coming from other states.
Or waiting in the wings.
Yeah, to raise these allegations.
Let me quickly take Suleiman in Lagos. Suleiman, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a wonderful evening. Yeah, my own contribution is that all what we are seeing, Nigerians, all their hands are on deck now. All their ears are open. Their eyes are open. What we expected from all of them is good leadership. If they are putting this into consideration, at least it's better for them right now to harmonize the differences between them. Because a situation whereby this one does not love the other one, or this one is not in support of the other one, and they are trying to use godfathers, is not going to work in Nigeria. So for PDP to come out and stand well, tomorrow they have to prove that they are united. United with one ideology, not with different ideologies, so that they can move forward and give a better leadership, because they already made mistakes sometimes, their past leadership, and they accommodated that. So this time around, if they are still having differences, it's not going to work well. So I pray that they get themselves together so that they can put the best for when they take the position.
Okay then. Okay. Many thanks, Suleiman. Quickly, Jide, I just chalked up three major frontliners. McCarthy, Kwankwaso, Atiku are likely to want to have a go at the #1 seat. You don't see their influences here, their fingers here and there?
And Ibrahim Shekarau.
Oh, Shekarau, yeah, okay. Yep. So
from the PDP, it is expected that.
Oh, sorry. Come on, I was.
All this, apart from Kwankwaso, the three of them are in the PDP, and no one knows whether Kwankwaso will eventually end up there too.
He's playing a
waiting game. He's bidding his time. He wants to strike at the opportune moment.
Time,
So we'll wait for him to decide whether to throw his hat in the ring or not.
And then, of course, you talk about the IBB having an interest in who becomes chairman.
Yes, and that's why I'm surprised, because yeah, before the election, actually what IBB did was Jonathan went there, he endorsed him. Buhari went there, that's Tomina, he endorsed him. Then Jonathan went a second time, he endorsed him. At that point, I told people that, look, it appears that he actually preferred Jonathan to Buhari. And if he preferred Jonathan to Buhari, that would not be unusual, because they've had a frosty relationship since Buhari was toppled by IBB in 1985. And northern leaders have tried their best, to try to get both men to work together. On many occasions they failed. I remember on one occasion IBB came to Buhari's Ali Rudantoro street home, yes, in Kaduna, and Buhari said, "Look, this is an ambush. He never told me it was coming." Yes, and he brought. We came with Buhari's uncle, Zango Ndaura, but he said, "No, it's an ambush. You didn't tell me you were coming."
Okay. All right then. We have some commercials to take. We'll break for just that and return, please. Okay, welcome back, folks. The PDP, it's no longer news. It's a big day for the party tomorrow. The convention will take place, and it's a be-all and end-all convention for the party ahead of 2019. I hear we have to go to Abuja now and take a gentleman who is eyeing one of the positions, the position of the National Publicity Secretary, and I'm talking about Kola Ologbodiyan. I hear we can take him now. Sir, are you there? Good evening.
Yes, I'm with you. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. And how is Lagos? How are you?
Lagos is okay. Yeah. So can you report what you are seeing there now?
Yeah. Today the aspirants met with the chairman of the convention committee. All the chairmanship, every sphere of contest, all the aspirants met with the chairman of the convention committee, and we got assurances that the election will be credible, that the process will be credible. And this evening, we went to pick our clearance form from the party secretariat, and we also got our tags. Preparation is in top gear. Eagle Square is okay. Everywhere Abuja is bubbling in expectation of the convention tomorrow.
The success or otherwise of this convention has an effect on the citizenry vis-a-vis the opposition. Kola, what picture are you seeing? The chairmanship swinging from the southwest to the south-south, or if you like, and the other way around?
No, I think that we need to get some facts right.
Yes.
About the situation of the national chairmanship. Even about the zoning arrangement of the party. The leadership of the party at the national level zone position to north and south. It is then left to the wisdom of the two regions to decide what to do with the respective positions that have been zoned to them. In the north central, the positions were further micro-zoned to the geopolitical zones, while in the south, it appears it had not a micro-zone. And that's the situation that we have.
Kola, why would we have that in the south?
Well, I think that question will be rightly answered by the leadership of the south of the PDP.
Okay, then.
Okay.
And for me, the processes so far appears credible. And the governor of Delta State, who is the chairman of the convention committee, has assured us today that the process will be credible. And questions were put to him, and he gave us answers that are satisfying.
Okay, then. We know you are angling for the position of the National Publicity Secretary of the party.
You are correct.
Okay, so you are hopeful?
I'm very hopeful.
Okay.
I'm very hopeful because I stand to be the best candidate to be beaten.
Okay.
And my agenda for the party shows clearly that I will hit the ground running immediately we are sworn in after the election.
Okay.
And I've spoken to virtually every delegate and asked for their support, and I'm getting responsive answers.
Kola, we wish you well.
Thank you very much, and I'm so grateful.
Okay then.
Thank you.
So,
Take care.
gentlemen, he has just hit the nail on the head. The party, the larger party said, look, for the presidency, North. For the South, in terms of the chairmanship of the party, South. The North seems to have agreed. The South is still fluid.
I think it's so, but what we are currently experiencing as it concerns the number of persons who have indicated interest to contest for positions, we are likely to witness same when it is time for the North to produce a candidate for the presidency. I think it's clear. If the party, in its wisdom, decided that the South should go sort themselves out and agree on who the party chairman should be, so be it. So we are likely to see the same thing playing out. Personally,
are you likely to see something else from the North?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, okay. Absolutely. Because, just like Jide said, politics is an interest-driven game. Mm. The guys from the North are interested in who emerges. So certainly there will be underground moves to back certain candidates. And those moves are very clear moves that have been made. We don't want to begin to mention names here. Mm. So you have a situation where you want a party chairman planted so that in return, he also gives a backing when you indicate interest to run for the presidency. So I think the horse trading that we have witnessed and are witnessing are not unusual in this kind of game. So we only hope, like it has been rightly acknowledged, that this is an opportunity for the PDP to reinvent itself. We hope that tomorrow's convention will be free, credible, and fair. All right. And it's good that we are getting that kind of feedback, from the field, suggesting that there is some very high trust in the committee that has been put in place to organize this convention.
Jide, let's expand this logic now. I mean, rightly or wrongly, you hear things like, oh, when it gets to the North, that it's very easy to have a consensus. But the South seems to always be the trouble.
Well, it's not in all cases that happens. There are people in the North who can never work together. There are people in the North who will leave one party once another person steps in. So they also have their problems. I remember that Atiku in 2011 told Buhari that, look, you are older than me, so it is you who should actually step down for me. And Buhari was saying, look, you now, when the younger person, should actually step down. They not tried to find just one candidate, but they didn't succeed. And remember when in 2000, just before the 2011 election, the Chiroma committee sat down and settled for one candidate from the North. That candidate happened to be Atiku. He defeated Saraki and other people, who are, even IBB, who contested against him, who stood before the panel to contest against him. But at the end of the day, Atiku ran, what's his name? Buhari also contested.
Well, yeah.
So they couldn't agree to step down for one another. You see, and I suspect that will also happen here. When people have spent so much money and have convinced so many people, it becomes difficult for you to tell them that, look, step down, you cannot win. No, it happened even with the governor of Sokoto State, when the party tried to get him to give up his ambition to become the chairman, the Speaker of the House of Reps, because Mulikat was the choice of the party. Because he had moved around, he had built consensus, he refused to agree. Yes, and he went on and defeated the candidate of the party. You know,
I think that the lure of the office is massive for anyone to want to ignore it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Nigeria is one country where the power that the president wields, it's so huge. You know,
And no less
you
so,
could just do
national
anything.
chairman of a political party
Oh,
like
yes.
the PDP.
Yes.
You know.
So the attraction is massive. Nobody wants to let go.
Let's bring this to a close because time is a master. Sam, quickly, former Senate President David Mark says the losers should take the results in good faith.
Yeah,
Did you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had that said.
Taking results in good faith always is a problem.
We want to believe that the guys are serious about what they are saying. We also had Wike say that today on one of the TV stations, you know, that in PDP there's a new spirit, you know, spirit of we want this party to return to what it used to be. Like I had said earlier, it's an opportunity, a great opportunity for them to reinvent themselves. So we want to hold them by what they have said, that they are going to accept the results, or that the contestants are going to accept the results.
The process is transparent.
Yeah, if it is transparent,
I'm sure they will accept.
credible, fair, then there wouldn't be any reason for any loser to want to make trouble. Because if they don't get it right this time, the PDP is likely to go into extinction, and that's the fear.
All right then, and Jide, just before we finally draw the debate to a close, you are seeing the ballot box as the sole determinant of the process outcome.
Yes.
How sacrosanct is the ballot box now?
Yes, at least the fact that the ballot box is sacrosanct is underlined, and I'm happy that one of the aspirants, we spoke to him, we confirmed that the process appears to be credible.
And near foolproof.
Yes, he said it even before we got into the studio, he said the same thing. So we want to believe that tomorrow everything will go fine, the PDP will put its house in order and be prepared to challenge
tomorrow together.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. We must end it there, but the debate continues. And if you are in doubt, please get a copy of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Now, still to come, NJC describes Justice Adeni Ademola's voluntary retirement as an afterthought. We'll go there after this break. All right then, welcome back. As one of the justices whose homes were raided in October 2016, our man, Mr. Justice Adeni Ademola, should have been circumspect and perhaps smelt a rat. The frontline bencher handed in his voluntary retirement on Thursday, but the Judicial Regulatory Agency, the National Judicial Commission, is not persuaded. According to the body's spokesman, Soji Oye, Justice Ademola had already been listed for compulsory retirement. Jide, somebody here was not like Caesar's wife, above suspicion.
Yeah, no. Justice Ademola has never, in the view of his bosses, been above suspicion. I listened to, I read what his lawyer said after the NJC announced that it had actually recommended his compulsory retirement to the president. And the lawyer said that that decision to voluntarily retire was taken immediately the judge won his case against the EFCC. You know, the Justice Okeke ruled that he had no case to answer. But if I were to believe that, that judgment was given in April. So, whereas Justice Ademola's letter of voluntary resignation, retirement, or resignation, actually came on October 10. That means April to October. So he didn't decide immediately he won the case. That can't be true. My problem with the NJC and the same thing that the president has been saying for so long is that it takes the NJC forever to decide on petitions that people bring before them. If people brought petitions many months ago, and you did not decide on time, that's why we are in this kind of situation. And it's not the first time, because the former chief judge of the Abuja High Court, Justice Gumi, was in this same situation. He was facing a misconduct charge. Instead of the NJC to decide quickly on the case, they waited and waited. Then maybe the judge saw it coming, as I suspect that Ademola also saw it coming. Justice Gumi resigned to become an emir, the emir of Gumi in Zamfara State. And after that, the NJC now came up with his report indicting someone who had left office and become an emir. So he sued them, because at that time he had left. You can't indict him when he had left office. You had all the time in the world to do that. And that's why people are impatient with the NJC on matters like this. You petition the NJC, after that, you will not hear anything again. It was that frustration that led the DSS to go and raid the homes of judges, because there were so many petitions, about these judges that the NJC just sat on, they didn't take action. Remember, even Femi Falana, the lawyer, said that there's a deluge of petitions against corrupt judges that the NJC literally dilly-dallies over, and people just get frustrated. So I'm not surprised that this has happened.
Sam, his due retirement date from here is April 9, 2018. Yes. So it is indeed an afterthought. Or would you say?
Well, it depends on the divide where you're coming from. But the facts that have been laid bare, which I read in some of our publications, say that he was due to retire 2018, yes, and that he served notice that he was going to retire. Mm-hmm. Now, the other story is that somehow there was a leak. Sadly,
as expected, sadly
everything is leaking in our country,
mm-hmm,
today. So
he moved quickly.
Yeah, so he moved quickly, to preempt. Yeah, to preempt.
To announce that he had resigned.
Do you understand? So we don't know what arguments he, as an erudite lawyer, if you permit, would want to advance for what he did. But what is clear to me is that it's not so much about the leakage; it's about the import of what has happened. I think that what the National Judicial Commission, Council, has done, is to begin some kind of house cleaning exercise. It will seem tiny.
This has been a long time coming.
Yes. It will seem a very tiny move, but I think that the import is very, very important here, because I was one of those who found fault with the way the leadership, the Buhari leadership, heckled, I'm choosing my words very carefully, heckled the judiciary. I think that what has come to light here today is that against claims of graft against Justice Ademola, today what the NJC has said is wrong is that he failed to deliver judgment within a stipulated time.
Yeah.
That is what is of interest to me here. And I think the lesson to be learned is that we need, as a country, to be very careful about the system that we have chosen to operate.
Yeah.
We should allow our institutions to work. If it allows our institutions to work, the administration wouldn't have been in a hurry to do what it did with the judiciary, because it's been established that it wasn't a case of graft for which no case submission was,
returned.
It was returned.
Yeah.
18 count charge. But simply one where the judge is said to have failed to deliver a judgment within the stipulated time.
Judy, I cannot fail to mention the Socio-Economic and Rights Accountability Project, or SERAP,
Yes.
whose petition provoked most of these things. So I think it is time we built on that.
Yes, we need the NJC to take action quickly. If you are looking at, I'm taking us back to even the case. Ademola was also accused in that petition that those Anambra guys wrote
House of Reps elect,
of adding a paragraph to the judgment, which he did not read in open court. He did not read it in open court, but it ended up in the certified true copy. That's another case. That's another misconduct, which the NJC talks about, but said that it chose to punish him because he decided not to give judgment until after the 90 days ceiling. You know, so the NJC needs to. There are tons of cases of corruption that people have. So let them do it quickly.
So they need to clean the
table
is very important.
Otherwise, people will lose faith in the judiciary.
Which is the last hope, supposedly, of the common man.
And it's not just about Justice Ademola now. We have the case of the agency also talked about Justice Tokode, who was said to have delivered six cases.
Claimed to have processed.
Yes, processed six cases.
Whereas
indeed it was just one. It was only one.
Those are not even. We've had cases of judges being involved in 419.
All right.
No, but they need to decide quickly, dispose of these cases quickly, let them get rid of the corrupt judges in the system, so that the fate of the Nigerians in the judiciary will be restored.
That's it. We must go now. Time is the master, but many thanks for your time. That's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us next week for another interesting episode. Watch a repeat broadcast of this particular edition at 11 tonight. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen. And of course, we want to say the YouTube is there at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Jones Hussein, but not before thanking Jide Otitoji for coming.
And I want to say that I'm going on leave for 2 weeks, so that they won't be seeing me for 2 weeks.
Enjoy your vacation, Jide.
Sam, many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Bye-bye now.